Hello again, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us for another video. Today we're going to visit Bath, York. This is a small town outside of London, a couple of hours. We took this as a part of a daily package where you visit Windsor, Stonehenge, and Bath. The big attraction here are the Roman baths, which date back to the 4th century. Well, even earlier than that. It actually dates back to like the 1st century. But this has always been a natural mineral spring that's been used for many thousands of years. So just a brief history. They believe that the Celtics, the pre-Romans and the Celtics were in the area, and they actually used the bath and actually dedicated it to a goddess that they believe had a healing power named Sulis. Not much is known about the Celtics pre-Romans, because obviously that was many thousands of years ago, but they do believe that that is the case. The Romans started in Britannia in the 1st century, pulled out in the 4th century, and this was one of the most famous baths of the region. When you talk about baths or Roman bathhouses with historical significance, this is one that really gets brought up. The other one is the baths of Diocletian in Rome, and the other one was the baths of Carcalla, which is also in Rome. So we're going to talk a little bit about Roman bathing culture as we get into the bath proper. As you can see, we're kind of walking around. This is a very touristy area. It's very popular. It's one of the main industries for the area, and it's absolutely worth going. As you can see, there's quite a few people. We were actually there in November. Apparently, this area is absolutely insane. During the summer, a lot of Europeans travel during the summer, especially in August. So try to avoid this area. I actually liked the cooler weather. And it was not as rainy as people say it was. As you can see, we're on the main thoroughfare. Walking only areas in Europe is very big. They forbid all cars in these certain areas. There's shopping and food, and it's really great. You also see a lot of street performers. You can see that in some of the videos here. The Roman bath that we're getting ready to visit, it was actually rediscovered in the 19th century, though bathing culture from the Georgian and Victoria periods had actually come back on. So as early as the 16th century, this started making a resurgence. Before then, Bath was fairly insignificant, and there was not a lot of people here. But that has come back with a vengeance. They have a small college here. There's quite a bit of tourist sites to see, and it's a really beautiful city. The Abbey is gorgeous. I'm a big sucker for cathedrals and abbeys and the monasteries of all kind, and the one here in Bath is particularly gorgeous. Very much in the coffee and chocolate culture here. Just sitting and having a croissant and eating like cappuccino is very big in this area of the world, and it's very much part of the culture surrounding European lifestyles today. So you are finally in the bathhouse. As you can see, they do monetize it, and they should. This stuff needs to be protected, and it's a very reasonable fee. It was part of our package to get to all 3 of these places, to get into all of the different sites. It cost us about $150 a person, which is not something obviously you're going to do every day, but it was worth the price of admission. It was something very cool. So let's talk about Roman bathing culture. So as you may or may not know, Roman bathing culture was a cornerstone of daily society. As I was doing research for this video, as I was getting ready to go to this location, I didn't even realize, as somebody that has kind of studied Roman culture, how big a deal bathing culture was. So let's talk about the structure of the bath. So the Roman baths were elaborate and complex because it actually was treated as kind of a community center. So they would start off always in the upper and I'm butchering that word, so I apologize, but this is basically a changing room. From the changing room, you could go to one of 3 pool rooms, which would be the frigitarium, which is the cold room, the tupitarium, which is the warm room, and the caldarium, which is the hot room. Other rooms also include the lyconium, which is a sweating room, a natiao, which is a pool, and a palistra, which is an exercise area. So, what made this place warm? So, in the pools in Bath, there's actually a hot springs, but most Roman baths remember this is ubiquitous across Roman culture. The Roman bath actually used a system called the hippocaust. And there's actually versions of this all over the world. You'll see a lot of these types of formats or structures in Korea is the one that pops off into my head. But the hippocaust is basically using an underfloor heating system where you'd have a furnace, heat everything up, and then it would actually be pushed with windmills and with blowers and just through kind of the function of the structure through both hollowed walls and hollowed floors. And so the Romans were really, really good about maintaining the temperature they desired in those specific areas. And for the time, mind you, this technology developed is throughout Roman times, but this specific building was from the 1st century AD. All right, the Romans actually left in the 4th century in Britain, and the empire in the western portion actually fell in the 5th century. But the bathing rituals actually was maintained in the Byzantium Empire. I'll talk a little bit about that. So the bathing ritual was very specific. It was a very specific sequence. You started with exercise. You went from exercise to scraping, and this is where they would take a metal tool called a stringed gill, and I hope I'm saying that right, to scrape off sweat and dirt and oils. Visitors would then proceed through the different pools, the cold pool, the hot pool, the warm pool, and they would jump back from pool to pool, and then they would often end with massage and oils. It was a very, very both hygienic, for the most part, and there were some bad things that came out of it because it was such an inclusive space, but for the most part, it was a very inclusive and hygienic practice, and it was very much part of Roman life. People would conduct business there, they meet friends there, where they would relax after a long day, where we're at home Netflixing and chilling. People are sitting naked in a bath in Roman times, and they're conducting business, and they're eating, and they're making merry. It was very much a big part of the Roman experience, and it was one of the things that helped the people stay connected to their culture and government. And what's really interesting about it is that some of the larger ones expanded. They had libraries, they had gardens, they had lecture halls. It often turned into this place of both leisure and learning. So the main famous ones that I talked about, if you're planning to, make a habit of visiting, and this is in Bath, England. Obviously, it's known for the natural hot springs, and there was a temple you see in some of the video here. The dedication to the goddess Sulis Minerva. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. The baths at Caracalla, which is a massive complex in Rome, and then the baths of Diocletian, which is another great bathhouse that's also around Rome. So, of course, with the fall of the Roman Empire, the bathing culture declined. It did continue during the Byzantium time, and it actually influenced the Islamic bathing practices, which you can actually see still in practice today in places like Turkey. So the real question becomes, as you're seeing all of this video and you're taking in the sights and you're learning about this area, is this worth your well-earned vacation time? And the answer to that question is absolutely yes. These videos, these experiences, I am very thankful to be able to share them with you. But there's nothing quite like walking in these places where these people walked, seeing the things that these people use, trying to get a glimpse and just the experience that these people lived. I'm a firm believer that, to learn from history is to try to avoid the mistakes of that past. And I'm not saying that Roman bathhouses were a mistake or anything, but getting into these places and seeing what they were like and learning about them, it just enriches you culturally. It just helps to bring balance to the soul, right? These are people that lived thousands of years ago. They've been gone for 10 times longer than the United States has been a country, right? And as an American who's traveling in Europe, and specifically one that studied Roman culture, and myself is what I'm referring to, this is a truly unique and delightful experience. The other great thing is that it's not the only one that you can have. Some of the other sites that you can see in Bath are very much worth your time, right? The Bath Abbey is a stunning Gothic church with a rich history from the Saxons' time to the present. The Royal Crescent is a masterpiece of Georgian architecture, offering iconic views and a glimpse into 18th century life. And the Circus, a circular row of Georgian townhouses designed to symbolize unity and harmony. This is one of those places that is small. It's easy to get around. It was not super expensive to get there and to see, and there is culturally just a lot. So, is it worth your time? Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy.